Get a load of this guy.
Take my shoes and walk a mile, something that you can't do. Hey, hey, hey.
What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Benji. Got my boy Ky with me.
What it do?
We've got another episode of the Qrewcast here today. We got a loaded docket, man. We're gonna dive straight into it. It's been a busy week, and we're gonna start things off in the sports sector, man. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe, man. Coming to audio platforms very soon. But what broke the internet within the last week, man, has been the "we done with the '90s" trend.
Yeah.
If anybody don't know what that is it started with a dude. I think it started with a dude on TikTok that went on TikTok was putting voiceovers over terrible footage of people in the 80s and 90s and them just being super trash. And he was able to kind of break that up into "we done with the '90s."
Yeah.
And basically what it is a bunch of compilation of just trash basketball. And he's like, bro, not everything is what it seems.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, bro?
I mean, for me, I feel like that kind of argument and that reality has always been present. It's always been there. Like, it's always been a fact. Like, obviously, majority of what we see from the 90s and what we see from previous generations of basketball is pretty much just the golden times, the highlights and whatever have you. So, obviously, with every era of basketball, and it's not just the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, even the 2000s, 2010s, like, there's going to be a bunch of trash moments, especially if you look for them and compile them together. But, like, I think it was kind of like, it kind of took people off their high horse a little bit because it kind of brought people down in reality. And it's like, okay, yeah, the 90s produced great players and great talents like Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and so on and so forth. But, like, you can't play good all the time.
No, yeah.
So it's like, I think it brings them down to earth a little bit just to let them know, like, yeah, I mean, they had bad moments too, but it doesn't deny or detest their greatness. But, for me, there was flaws in every era. So for the people who like to be like, oh, the 90s is the golden era of basketball. Look, there's flaws in your era too. Yeah. 80s, oh no, we was killing people on the court. We were legally murdering people. No. We see it here. You weren't doing that either. So it's like it kind of puts that reality into the spectrum again.
I agree with you. I think that there's a real lack of true basketball discourse. It's the same ideology to when people talk about the reason people don't watch WNBA is because they suck. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't actually watch the WNBA because you don't actually watch the WNBA. It's not because they necessarily suck. You just don't actually watch it. Yeah. And you don't know what it really entails to really be a basketball purist. So I think a lot of people watch the game for highlights, and I agree to that. But like you said, you could put a compilation together of anybody. You could go get the games of anybody that's playing tonight and be like, and put a compilation together of trash stuff. Yeah. Like, that you're going to be able to find trash moments. Now, I do agree that there is progression in the game. Like, there was a point where they were talking about Michael Jordan don't even have a left hand.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like you said, you're crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's true.
Because there was, like, a video online. I just reacted to it on Hoops HQ, so if you want to check out Hoops HQ. But he really broke down the actual statistics of, I think it was, like, 3 random seasons of every possession that Michael Jordan had the basketball, how many times it goes left, and actually went left. I think it was
like 48% of the time or something like that.
It was like really like almost majority of the time he went left. Now, obviously, he didn't score as efficiently. I think it was like 62% of the time he was able to create a bucket with the right hand, and it was like 50-something% off the left. But, I mean, that's why you have a strong hand.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like that's true for like literally almost anybody. Dominant hand player, except for like you have a few exceptions like Russ. I mean, this not like it's not like they're an exception, but you can't necessarily force them away. Yeah, they might be a little bit, but it's like this is not my dominant hand. I don't shoot with this hand, so it's like obviously I'm not going to be able to finish as well. But like even still, when they'll try to compare and contrast like LeBron, his left hand and LeBron is left-handed. He's literally left-handed. He just shoots with his right hand, so he's a left-handed player. So it's like, and you have the same thing with LeBron. Like he doesn't dribble as well as other players, or you feel me? You can do that with anybody. You can compare and pick and, you know what I'm saying? You can do it with anybody. You can pick and say, oh, he don't know how to do this as well, in comparison to somebody who's a complete left-hand scorer. It's going to look like that. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's just bad takes on basketball. Yeah. And like you said, people always talk about like back in the day, they plumbers. I think one thing that bro brought up in the video that I think that was a video where he was exposing the truth of what's going on in the 90s. Obviously, the discourse online is that everybody's trash and there's plumbers, and if you put so-and-so in the league 40 years ago, he would average this. Like, you got people like Iverson talking about he would average 40 points a game in the NBA. First of all, I think he's crazy.
No.
But people also don't agree with – people don't understand that the game has changed.
Yeah, like, you can't sit there and be 20 years removed from the game and say, oh, I scored 40. No, you wouldn't, because literally everybody that's playing is more athletic than you.
No, yeah.
They're all just as skilled as you. It's not to say that you weren't great in your own right, but it's like the skill gap is so much smaller now.
And that's what I think it is too. And that's what they were talking about because, like, let's say for a perfect example of that, you talk about like Iverson. At that time, what he was doing was frowned upon. Like we were talking about with the WNBA, how they're like kind of stuck in this thinking that like you have to play slow and play team basketball, and because like I said, I could talk about every year that there's a star player in college that comes to the WNBA and that's kind of like mitigated because of the system that she's in. The system that they were playing with in the 90s when they slowed the basketball down. In the 80s, they were scoring 100 a game. You know, and I guess at the time people didn't want to do that, so they wanted to slow the game down. So that's when they started slowing the game down. They started putting in players and systems that changed how the game was played. Because who was the winning coach in the 90s? Phil Jackson. How was he winning with the triangle offense? So they started just finding ways and players that reflected how they needed to win. Early in the 90s, you had the Pistons winning it. Well, how are they winning? Attacking people. Yeah. So you just attach trends to that. Who was your star big? You had bigs that literally didn't do anything other than just foul and rebound. So I think the skill gap, like you said, has changed because you could put guys in that were 7 feet tall that could just run and jump, and that's all you needed. And didn't have to worry about that. You had guys like wings that could come in literally just for defense. Just come in, play defense, and sit out. Think about it. And even if you could talk about that in the 2010s, you had what was old buddy used to play with the Magic, the African dude.
It's Peaches, Michael Peaches.
You had Michael Peaches. You had a boy from the Spurs. You had guys that came in and their role was to literally just come in, play defense. Barbosa, early in his career, Barbosa was literally just a pest. You had Dante. They used to play with the Pacers.
Exum?
Not Dante Exum, but he used to play with the Nuggets and the Pacers, and he was like another Kobe stopper, no whatever.
I don't know, but Shane Battier, another one.
Yeah, Battier. Like guys that came in, you just shoot a couple times when you get open. But that's the difference in roles that I think a lot of people don't understand.
And then you see that now. You see how like that progression also hurts players that are in those roles. Like say you have a Patrick Beverly or like Draymond Green, players that are literally just doing their roles to the highest ability, and people will look at them and say, "Oh, this player is trash. You have no skill." It's like, bro, I'm a top defender in the league. I think Patrick Beverly is literally like one of the top 5 defenders in the league, like statistically.
Yeah. And people don't give him credit for what he does, and I think like that just show you like how different the game is today. But like I think you don't have as many specialists.
Yeah.
Like I said, you would have guys that come in and play defense. You had bigs that come in if you needed a rebound, if you needed a block shot, if you needed a hard foul. And then you had the shooters. You had the guys that was gonna come in, be role players. So I think you had a lot more of those players that were kind of coming in with specific roles back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And then you had a league that was dependent on your wings and your two men. And then late started becoming, if you had a solid big, then you could really do things. So I think that's just kind of what the league was built on. And like you said, I think people just are negligent to that fact. But I agree in some aspects if or like Aaron Aflalo was what I was thinking of. But bro came off the bench. But you could even talk about, like for example, I think if Michael Jordan, with the grip that he had on the league and how far above talent-wise he was than everybody, because like I said, athleticism, Jordan still is going to rank top 10 all time. Yeah. He had like a 40-something inch vertical, quick first step, ridiculous creativity in the air and stuff like that. And that's without evolution of basketball. Because up until that time, his only references of the game or Larry Bird,
Julius Erving.
you know what I'm saying?
The few.
So if you add Michael Jordan with now references of the game from that time, I think you put him in the game today. Because like I said, I always talk about a good player comp is like DeMar DeRozan. And DeRozan's probably shorter and lesser wingspan than Jordan. But DeRozan, another athlete who calmly has been averaging over 20 his career.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Jordan won't do that.
I mean, and this is my thing with like people who like
look
to
at Anthony
compare.
Edwards.
Yeah, like people who like to compare and contrast generations. A great player is going to be a great player.
No matter
So
what.
like, if you're a generational talent in any generation, you're going to be good.
No, yeah.
So like, people who would say, "Oh, you put LeBron in the '80s," well, are you nuts?
Yeah,
If you put LeBron in the '80s, they would literally stone him. Like what?
No facts.
Like, that's
who's
insane.
guarding him.
Exactly, 6'8", 250. Bro, stop.
Run and jump.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then really a lot of people will hate on LeBron, but LeBron has actually added to his game each and every year in terms of move set. Back like when Kobe was and LeBron were at the peak, I think, of their battles. LeBron was a run and jump athlete.
Yeah.
Now if you watch LeBron play, back to the basket, he can shoot threes. He can shoot the ball. You can even look at his jump shot. He used to really shoot a real jump shot, like really get up in the air, and he would launch that joint in the air. But now he's got a little smoother shot. I think he's still strong. He's still got like a slight hitch in it. But
he's shooting at the highest clip in his
No.
career. Like he's consistently going up every year, bro.
So he improves each and every year, but people won't be receptive to that. And so I agree that comparing, like I said, especially like comparing like a Jordan, like an all-time athlete to like he's gonna be good. Now Iverson, I think is crazy because now, like I said, at the time Iverson was a one of one, and he introduced guys like Stephon Marbury, Steve Francis, Jason Williams, because those, I think, when guys started becoming a little bit more acceptable with the stuff that you were able to do. And that's why I was saying the point that I was kind of trying to make was that in the 90s, like, you were kind of in a fixed system. But we have a system. We got clogged paint. We don't got time for you to be dribbling. The paint's too clogged up. Shoot the ball or pass it. What are you doing? We can play help defense, so you don't have time to be taking 10 dribbles.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, you have a different offensive scheme, and you have a different skill set in players, so it allows people to open it up more, so you can play more isolation basketball. Before, you had to play cuts and stuff like that because it was too clogged up for you to take 3 dribbles. Somebody swiping at the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, evolution is important because, like, for example, if you put like Stephon Marbury, guys that were like Steve Francis, guys that were kind of hindered because they came into, I think, a league where a lot of stuff was frowned upon. Like Rayford Olsen had to tone his game down.
Yeah.
Crazy. And you tell him now you put him on an island now. Oh, it'd be crazy. But like you had so many of these guys that had to really tone their game down to play with the system they were playing. Jason Williams had to tone his game down tremendously because it was high risk, high reward. And like I said, you had these guys that came in as scoring point guards. What's his name? Kenny, lefty, that used to play with the Lakers. You had these guys that could really score as point guards, but it was kind of looked at like, what are you doing? Get the ball to our 2-man. Get the ball to our big man. Stop shooting the ball. So I agree that Iverson could probably get a more shot attempts, but he's also somebody who led the league in the shot attempts, bro. So, I mean, he was going to get them shots up. I don't know necessarily if he would average 40.
Yeah, he would average 40, but he really good.
I think he would still score at a high clip because he gets a couple more opportunities. And it's like you weren't too far removed, bro, of like where the current like you retired in like 2015 or 2014. I want to say, you know, so it's like, bro, not like you were like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So I think he was a little bit crazy. That okay, I'm sorry. His last season was 2010 officially. So I guess he was right on the cusp of the changing of the hand, which I really believe the league just changed the last couple of years because what they do the last 2 years, they really opened up opportunities for like the players. Because like what we were talking about earlier, that's why I was kind of saying I think it's impossible to play defense nowadays.
Yeah.
Then before, like I said, you had a crammed up lane, so you could funnel guys to help defenders, and you had an opportunity to guard. You were allowed hand checking. You were allowed 3 seconds in the paint. You had opportunities. You were allowed help. Yes, they started changing things with illegal defense, things like that I really think opened up the opportunity for offensive players to score. But now, you have so many rules that limit the defender.
Yeah.
And you have so many players that I think have the ability to take advantage of the rules. Like nowadays, like these guys are too smart. These guys know the rules and they know how to manipulate. Like you said, like what we would learn in high school when, you know what I'm saying, someone's pressing you and they got the body, hey, flop, you know what I'm saying, give them a little pushback.
Shoot, James Harden MVP season is a complete
saying?
culmination of somebody just knowing the rules, bro.
And like even the whole sweep thing.
Yeah.
Genius, because if you put your hands down there, foul.
Every time.
And the way you do it, this force of you going up is almost more likely going to beat the person slapping down, where you can still get a shot up. And versus you going up regular, your motion, if somebody hits your arm or hits the ball, you lost it. But at least here, I have the root power to go up and try to finish. But like I said, I think these guys are too crafty, for one. Like you said, trying to attack the basket. Off the dribble, I got to give them a little bit of space because you got these veterans like KD, Chris Paul. They catch it. I think they changed it a little bit for this year. But they used to be able to catch the ball. The Dwayne Wade foul. Catch the ball. If the guy's hands in there, foul. So, like, you, as a defender, you have to be cognizant of this guy knows how to draw fouls. And so I think it's just, one, you're on an island for sure now because, like I said, the game is so spread out. You got 5 out. So you don't really got help like you really used to have. Everybody can shoot. And now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can't really funnel the help defense the same way. And these guys' bags are deeper. Yeah. Because, like I said, now you don't have, yes, you have evolution in the game, but you also have, since the game is wide open, you have to be able to create a bucket. And so, like, now, these guys have seen everything, bro. So, like, it's hard to guard them because guys have so much skill, but also because, like I said, these guys are too crafty when it comes to drawing fouls, kicking the ball out, you know what I'm saying, like creating contact. I think it's like just, it's like 90-10.
Like, you literally have to, like, you have to live with the majority of what comes on offense.
Because, like I said, any little thing a dude can do can create contact and you get a foul. Yeah. And if you can't get a foul, he can get you out of position to dish it off or whatever. Like, it's just, like I said, I think the rules necessarily right now favor, like I said, the offense like 90-10. So that's what I think people just don't really get when you talk about, like, the previous eras. And I think, like you said, you can still acknowledge players that were good without necessarily disparaging the guys of today. I definitely do have my hot takes about some of the guys I still don't believe, who I believe were overrated at the time period, but, like, people just talking about the whole entire era was trash. It's kind of crazy because, like you said,
I mean, obviously, like, if you compare the 40s and the 50s to the, like, obviously
to the 90s or whatever,
in perspective, it's gonna be trash. But, like, there's in no way, shape, or form can you say somebody who literally put up 100 points in the game is trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that because they were absolutely demolishing everybody that they played against. So you can't say that.
I think, and I saw that's been on Twitter floating around. I guess bro from the Mavericks tried to break it, but I think he was unsuccessful. There's like a consecutive field goal made record that Wilt Chamberlain has, and I think it's like 34, 35 consecutive. And so, like, there was one guy from the Mavericks was trying to catch it. I think he, like, finished at like 31 or whatever in a row, but he was like literally just dunking and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, with Luka and everything. But, like, that just goes to show you. And, like, Wilt Chamberlain, he probably got it. Like, that record's probably, like, 1 or 2 games. You know what I'm saying? Like, and bro was doing that basically from, like, I think it was, like, it's been, like, for the last 2 months or whatever. And trying to build that, like, 30 whatever straight. Yeah. But, like, Wilt, like I said, probably knocked it out in, like, 1 or 2. Yeah. And that just goes to show you, but, like, he was OD.
Yeah,
like, even if you're playing against toddlers, bro.
He had multiple seasons where he averaged 50. I don't think people will be understanding, like, you know how insane that is? Because it's not like you're not just playing against puny people. Like, obviously, he was huge compared to most people. But, like, he's still playing against the top athletes in the U.S. You feel me? So he's played against Bill Russell, which is also another footer. There was a couple of footers in there. So he's not like he's just playing against kids. And even if you're playing against somebody that's trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what? You scoring 50 points is insane.
No matter what. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Even if you're playing against 5-year-olds, bro, it's like you still gotta go get 100 points.
You gotta hit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
as a 30-something straight shots. It's crazy. Made shots, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still, no matter who you're playing against, it's OD.
And then it's like not even just the fact that he was putting up that many points, bro. He was playing like the entire game, every game
in Converses.
Yeah, so it's like I think that's a testament to somebody's greatness. Like, bro, he's literally playing in shoes that we wear for what I'm saying, casual wear. You know what I'm saying, playing hard. Yeah,
in those joints.
So it's like you really have to take account for everything when you try to compare compare eras. Because like you can't just say, oh, well, I score more than him, so I got to be better than him. No, it's not how it works, buddy.
No, it works at all.
The game was literally completely different back then.
Yeah. And they always see the clips of like Shaq. He's talking about like Rudy Gobert, which I understand.
Yeah.
Because you have the old heads who I don't think got paid the same way respectively or reflectively that a lot of these guys get paid now. But like I said, I think it's
a part of the
is
game.
just more global, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you have inflation, but the game is just a bigger game. So you plays your role with, expanding the game. Like Shaq would be talking about, man, this guy averages 12 points.
Yeah.
But and he's getting paid a max contract, which is crazy.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it is crazy. Like you say that on paper, but like
he's a true specialist.
yeah, it's like respectfully.
You don't
Rudy
have many
Gobert,
Goberts.
you know what I'm saying? Like he ain't my favorite player, but you got the respect, like because you read that resume, bro. He's what 3-time defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know how many defensive first teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's led the league in blocks a couple of years, I believe. Like it's hard to argue with that as a big man, because what can you say? Yeah, you can say you're scoring more than him, but like that scoring is not everything.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be the highest scorer on your team to be the most valuable player.
So they say Defensive Player of the Year award 3 times, 4-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Defensive First Team,
Yeah.
and 3-time NBA All-Star, and was also the NBA blocks leader in the 16-17 season, and the NBA rebounding leader in 21-22. And it was named to the All-NBA second team in 2017 and All-NBA third team in 19, 20, and 21.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he does what he does. Like you said, he's not Embiid is out there going for 30, but he does what he needs to do.
And granted, I mean, he's on Timberwolves, right?
Yeah.
Before they got Ant, I'm saying like
He was him and Conley.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Him and Mike Conley were the mans.
I think he was
Then it was D Mitchell.
in a city like that. I mean, he is deserving of a contract.
I'm sorry, I said him and
Conley.
It was him and Mitch. Not Conley, was it? Because Conley was on the Grizzlies. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah. Like at the end of the day, like what I said, true specialist. He came and does his role and knows what he has to do. He goes and challenges everybody. He goes and rebounds the ball. He may not be offensively gifted, but that's not his role.
Yeah.
You have Towns. You have Ant Edwards.
That's what I'm saying. Like you don't
don't
have
have
to
to.
be the highest scorer on every team just to get a max contract. Jaylen Brown is getting paid $300 million, bro.
Oh my gosh. And that brings me to another side. Bro, I really think, like, truly, I can understand the argument that Tatum is low-key overrated. And that honestly, if we compare him and Jaylen Brown statistically,
Bro, that's what I've been saying
you know what I'm
because
saying? Or what they do on the court,
like I think
they're the same
literally,
guy.
I literally think the only thing that makes Tatum what makes Tatum or makes him who he is literally just the fact that he has star power, and just that he's a little bit more marketable.
Yeah.
I think cause statistically he's like a bucket off of Jason Tatum. I mean Jaylen Brown.
So them two being on the same team, I'll show you this.
And to me, Jaylen Brown's more consistent. JB more consistent.
So I would say, them being on the same team, so they're sharing the ball with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown averages 23 points a game, shooting 50% from the field, 35% from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, I know Jason Tatum's
Okay.
cooking this season though. He's like 29, ain't it?
So Tatum is at 27 a game. He shoots 47% from the field and 37.6, so 38% from 3, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. So we're talking about a guy who was a shade under statistically him. And like I said, if you look at, let's say,
And I feel like Tatum has to hit more shots than JB, bro.
I want to see his average shot attempts this year. So like if I want to go there, Tatum is shooting. This is over the last 5 games. There we go. This whole season, Tatum is shooting 20 shots a game. And
What are you talking? Like, bro.
Jaylen Brown is putting up 18, so he gets the shots up too. He shoots a slightly better clip, but the extra 2 shots is what generates the difference. I think it denotates the difference between points because he's averaging 23 points a game, and
On
he's
2 less
averaging
shots.
27.
Yeah.
So I mean, 2 more shots. that gets me at 27 points or whatever. They're both all-stars, but like I said, I think Jalen, like I said, sad to say, their stats, as you can see, are so similar, but one of them, I think, is regarded a lot higher than the other. And I mean, know why.
I think I know why. Like, it's just his path and everything going into the league. Like,
he was always, my bad. He was always a super high ranked player. Now, Jalen Brown was highly ranked in his class as well.
But he did. I think Jalen Brown, like, he's one of those players too that took a humongous jump when he got to the league. Like, I was never a fan of Jalen Brown. Yeah, like, he truly improved. Donovan Mitchell's another one I like to say too.
Super,
like,
super
goodness gracious, I was never a fan of either one of them. Like, they were nice, obviously, but like, goodness, like,
Donovan Mitchell got crazy.
Yeah, like insane, bro. And I think, like, I also think the kind of like Tatum being in the Mamba Academy or like just being around Kobe, it kind of had a little bit to do with it too.
Ego, I think.
Yeah.
Because he still acts like Kobe's like extending life to him.
Yeah, or like I don't know, like I feel like that goes into his narrative or persona a little bit, and just like again, like with him being high ranked coming in, like him coming in, his rookie or sophomore season, like he was like hitting the matchup when he played against LeBron, like you know what I'm saying, like it was LeBron and Tatum, like he was the face of the team already, like he came into a system where it was like you're gonna be the face. I really don't know why though, like I don't know what pushed him to be like the guy, because like I don't know, I've been watching the Celtics for the last couple of years and it's just like you kind of haven't been the guy, like the dude, respectfully, you know what I'm saying, I admit I'd be on a little bit of a hater tip too, but like respectfully, the dude that kept him in the playoffs last year was Derek White and JB, you know what I'm saying, it's not Tatum.
Because, well, I think it's interesting. And why I say this is because, like, we talked about the improvement of, like, a Jalen Brown. I think both of them kind of came into a weird era where they had, like, Kyrie and Gordon Hayward kind of being, like, the stars of the team.
That's facts. I forgot about Kyrie.
Like,
I forgot about Kyrie.
like, you know, what role to be end up playing until they were able to transition to being the main guys.
Facts.
But I said it to say, Jalen Brown is, like, 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
Tatum was like 6'9".
That's what I don't really understand him, bro. He's literally supposed to be like wilding.
And Tatum, that's what I was looking up to. Tatum shoots eight threes a game. Last year he shot 9 threes a game. And I could say, in contrast, everybody gets on LeBron James for shooting too much. He shoots 5 threes a game.
Yeah. And LeBron shoots like 40s or like 50% from three. Like shoots very well.
So currently LeBron is shooting 41% from three. So he's knocking them down right now. I think at a point him and Curry were averaging the same percentage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then I could say in the same breath, Stephen Curry, which you know what you're gonna get from Stephen Curry. You're gonna get 3-point bombs getting heaved.
He's what, like 8?
No, he shoots 12.
Goodness gracious.
He gets him up. Well, which I expected. But then you have a guy that's 6'9" that shoots 3 less.
Yeah.
He gets him up.
It is crazy because,
that's
like,
kind of what irritates me about Tatum.
Bro, I be saying the same thing because when you look at Tatum, anytime he, like, bro, Tatum pisses me off so much because anytime he goes to the basket, like, I will say this about Tatum, he's so good at using his length and his body when he gets to the basket. Every time he does it, it looks like it's so easy. But he does not do that every time. No. He would much rather do a step back, and he's gonna wait for you to get in his face, then step back again and shoot. And like he loves to do difficult shots, bro.
And I think that's what really hurt them in the playoffs because this dude really forgets that he's 6'9".
Yeah,
like, bro, and that's why I say I feel like he's slightly overrated because we try to regard him as one of these top players in the NBA, but we had Andrew Wiggins putting on a defensive clinic on him in the finals. Yes, that was a little bit ago, but we saw what happened to them last year, how they sold.
Yeah.
And it's just like, bro, I think when we cast, like, for example, let's say on LeBron James, who, okay, I get it. LeBron James is going to be one of the best players ever to do it. We cast all these doubts every time he touches the basketball court, but we don't hold the same regard to a lot of these other players that we're supposed to. While the whole season, we're, oh, my God, this guy's so amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about Luka each and every year, but then when it comes to the playoffs, he is exposed. Not necessarily for what he can do, which is scoring and passing, but we understand that the foul call, the foul baiting, the volume of shots, the lack of defense, stuff like that becomes critically apparent in the finals or in the NBA playoffs. If he gets to the playoffs, because the last couple seasons he hasn't been in the playoffs.
Facts.
But whatever, we let it slide on the rug. Tatum, he's 6'9", and it just irritates me because he would rather shoot, like you said, side step threes. You'd rather get 9 threes up a game than when you need a bucket, let's go get us a bucket.
He's genuinely somebody that should easily be averaging 30.
He's too skilled.
Like, way too skilled, bro. And not only is he skilled, green light, he's skilled, and then he's huge, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally no reason for him not to be, like, granted, you know what I'm saying, I do think Jaylen Brown is deserving of Supermax and whatever, because he's Mr. Consistent. Like, he's there every time you need him. But, like, bro, if I'm Jason Tatum and I'm seeing JB get 300 M's, I'm finna go crazy because, bro, you are like, you could genuinely argue, like, okay, you give him 300 M's. Well, watch how I do this for me, because y'all already know what I am. And for me, hit you 30 a game, that's not hard for him.
No, yeah. That's
very easy. And hey, let me get 400. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I don't know if I uploaded it or not, but, like, there's, like, footage with the way Jason Tatum plays. Like, I was talking about how a lot of these guys are so tough to defend because the way they play will almost elicit a foul call.
You don't
plays, like I said, he's not 6'9". Like, and that's what I mean to say. Okay, I'm not gonna sit there and say that he shouldn't be shooting threes because he doesn't shoot it the best, but he does knock down threes, and that opens his game up for him. Why I say he plays like he's not 6'9" is because, like I said, you watch him play where he could one dribble, bump, extend, finish.
Exactly.
He'll 1-2 dribble, veer out. So he avoids any type of contact from the defender on the side to then try to shoot like a little awkward floater, awkward layup where he could have straight line drove, got contact, got a layup. He does a lot of that where he could pull up, stop on a dime in your face, but we would rather do this little side spin, shimmy, step back, snatch back, fade away. You'd rather do that type of stuff, the cute stuff, than what would you're not Trae Young, bro. Like, post up, like there's film of him, like they run down screens, things like that, and he normally, because he's the ultimate player mismatch. He's too tall for a short player, and he's too quick, too savvy with the basketball for somebody who's 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
So majority of the time he has guards on him, and he will most of the time post him up and take him to the 3-point line and try to start sizing up where that doesn't play in your favor.
No.
While, yes, you have talent, you could literally post up these 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" guys. Hey, one dribble, shoot over him.
I'm saying, like, I get it, because, like, you can still shoot over him, but, like, why are you taking the difficult? I don't understand it. Why every time you have to make it difficult on yourself? Like, he's like J.R. Smith, bro. He'll have an open shot. They'll hit him on the wing. Let me get the defender over here. Wait. Sidestep. Sidestep. Like, bro, just shoot.
He's crazy.
It's like, if you're going to shoot 8 threes a game, okay, just at least let him, you know what I'm saying, let him be open. They don't all have to be contested, falling off, sidestep threes.
He's one of those players, like, when he's hitting shots, you're like, man.
Yeah.
Because every shot is nice. It's not, like you said, catch, shoot, little cut to the basket.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have flashes of those here and there in the game, but a lot of his, if you watch, like, his games, a lot of his made shots are like, like type buckets. Where it's like, you don't have to do that.
No.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could set yourself up for, yes, maybe they're not as pretty buckets. I don't know. I feel like they've had too good of a team year in and year out, too. Like, I'm a Warriors fan, and I completely conceded that they had a way better team than them in the finals that year. And I was like, man, honestly, the Celtics might have an opportunity, because I thought the Warriors were not only not as talented, but they weren't playing as cohesive. But they look so much better than the Celtics because I think the guys that are manning the ship weren't able to step up and make stuff happen. They had Tatum playing the point guard, which is an interesting decision, but he started playing like point guard, which wasn't. I think he just had to bring the ball up because he was never really a true point. And he was like so passive, and like I said, he was just getting threes up. So that's always gonna be my gripe with him.
Yeah.
And then another NBA news, Ky Jones is back. He got signed to a 10-day contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. And I would like to make it clear, I don't think anyone ever doubted that he could play basketball.
No, he's nice.
He's just like not here.
It was I think it was just the antics, and then it was already like it was time to rediscuss things anyways, and it was just like, okay, well, you on antics anyway, so it's just
and what was great, bro requested a trade.
Yeah,
which is like a no-no in the NBA. You can get fined, I think, for putting a public request to get traded. But he wasn't where he needed to be, I don't think.
Yeah.
Basically. He's bald right now, so interesting. But, I mean, we'll see how he goes. Because, I mean, I think 76 is a good opportunity for him because they are without a big. But I also know they're not going to play games because they're trying to actually chase a championship.
Oh, yeah.
So, that'd be interesting. And speaking of 10 days, Isaiah Thomas got 10 days. So, we were just talking about, like, possibly when there's a time to give things up. And, like, I was talking about, I mean, if he gets a 10-day, I think it's a minimum $200K. I salute it. He got 10 day with the Suns, which I think is interesting. You got anything on that?
I think
he's just out there.
Yeah, like realistically, I just think he's just genuinely somebody who loves to be around the game.
Yeah.
He genuinely just loves to hoop. Like,
NBA.
if at this point, depending on how his 10-day goes, like somebody needs to pick him up for a vet minimum. Like, because it's like he can give you, if not what any vet point guard can give you, more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be going back to Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's in the league right now. He's getting like 20 minutes a game or something like that.
Right.
And he's averaging 9 points. You know, like, while he's not completely useless, you don't really need Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Same thing. I feel like the same thing with IT. Like, he's not useless, but you don't need him. And I really did like him when he was in Charlotte for the little bit that he was, because he was like a really cool vet presence or whatever to have around, especially like to have a point guard around like LaMelo, who's developing. I feel like that was a great piece. But like, and I don't know, anywhere with like a young core, I think he'd be good.
You be good. I also like to touch on, like, there has to be like politics involved.
Yeah.
Because this guy just, like, yeah, he's been pushing for an opportunity to hoop. And I get it. He's a veteran. He is a former star of plenty of NBA teams. He just gets in the G League, plays a game, and then hops in a 10-day.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Because that's what I like to say. I think he's got a lot of pull with a lot of these guys. I think a lot of these guys really enjoy playing with Isaiah Thomas, playing around Isaiah Thomas. But I think that's interesting to say that he's only got a 10-day, especially from a team that is already heavily guard oriented. I thought
that was the most interesting thing about it to me, is that he was on the Suns. Like, I don't see him being in 10-day as insane, but like, why are y'all giving him a 10-day?
And I don't think he was playing for like the like like Jazz.
So
So I thought that was interesting because, like I said, if anybody could use a guard, it could be one of the teams on the bottom that could use a guard.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to say, like I said, I think politics are just so important in the game because you have plenty of these young guys that are going out there and averaging a lot that aren't seeing a 10-day, and they have the potential to where you could get them better, mock them up, get them.
True.
But they aren't seeing an opportunity with the league. Like, I think Sharif Cooper just got pulled up on a 10-day, but he didn't see any game time with the Cavs. And so I think it's interesting, the guys like that, you know, and like Sharif Cooper, I think, was like MVP last season. If he wasn't, he was like one of the leading scorers in one summer league. So he's been doing his thing, but he doesn't necessarily get an opportunity. Like I said, for like example, Mac McClung, who's an efficient scorer, goes out there and does what he needs to do. He's obviously somebody who could sell tickets, but he doesn't get a shot.
Yeah.
But you see like guys like Isaiah Thomas, which even if I really can make the argument, Isaiah Thomas is a veteran. I agree to that. But why, let's say I could choose a young Mac McClung who will put butts in seats, who can shoot, who can score. Because, I mean, truly, Isaiah Thomas ain't going to go out there and give you 20 assists.
Nah.
He ain't going to get you 10 assists a game. He's maybe a couple here and there.
Yeah.
But he's coming to get buckets. Mm-hmm. So why can't I get the young guy who's ready to get buckets?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's politics involved because, like, me personally, like, while I do love Isaiah Thomas and I really do want to see him on the team, if we're being real and we're talking business and we're just talking about, like, what a team would want, literally nobody would pick him up.
Yeah.
Like, in your right mind, you're not going to the G League and say, "Oh, let me get that 35-year-old right there."
Nah, yeah.
No, why would you do that?
There's no purpose.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's literally myriads of other talent out there. So, I don't know. There's definitely a politic thing.
Yeah.
And, again, like you said, they're already guard heavy. There's really no space for him there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, definitely dope for him. Mm-hmm. I just think it's just interesting. Like I said, I'm looking at it like, dang, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Very quick turnaround. He just hops in the middle of the season, plays one game, and then boom, okay, and then it's 10-day. Like I get it. Like I said, he's got connections, and like at least he's got a book of experience and a resume that's nice. But that's all I always say. There's definitely a politics thing.
Yeah.
I think that plays a part. And we can talk about politics. We can also talk about some funny stuff I saw that was interesting. That like we talked about how a lot of these guys have changed the way. Sebastian Telfair was talking about how Nike completely changed LeBron's career and that there wouldn't be a LeBron without Nike. I tried to hear out what he was saying.
Yeah, I get where he was coming from, and I get, like, yeah, LeBron might not be LeBron as we know it without Nike.
Because he was making the same argument that, like, Jordan with Nike was what helped ascend Jordan.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think him with Nike was the thing because, like, at the time, Nike wasn't even the biggest shoe.
No, it wasn't. But for me, they piggybacked off of Jordan to become the biggest shoe.
Yeah.
So, like, I think,
So
like,
at the end of the day, was Jordan's star power that made the Nikes go crazy.
but I don't think without Nike, Jordan's legacy is as prevalent as it is with hoopers in general and just like the younger generation. Like, because a lot of us didn't watch the game. A lot of us, or a lot of people just in general, like casuals, didn't watch the game. They learned about them from shoes or whatever. So, like, I think as a casual reach, yeah, you know, LeBron wouldn't be LeBron. Like, we wouldn't be, oh, that's Bron. But, you know, like, he would still be LeBron, like, regardless of who he signed with. Like, literally, he could have signed with Converse if he wanted to.
Right.
Converse would have been up with whatever, and LeBron would have still, because, like, it wasn't going to change what he was going to do on the court, and Matt Barnes was speaking to that. But I do think it's interesting because the marketing, it does play a big aspect. Like, somebody putting their money behind you and pushing for you, that does play a big aspect in your star power. And I think, like, a lot of LeBron's brand and just his personality, his persona derives from his marketability. So I think, I mean, it's a fair point to say that he would not be LeBron as we know it, but he'd still be LeBron. Like, it wouldn't be, because it's hard for you to envision that because, like, you look at Nike and just Bron, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's such a face over there. It's kind of hard for you to imagine anything without it, but, like, he's a generation of talent, so it's hard to speak against that.
Like you said, falling in the lines of what has been set in stone. Like, you had your Jordan, you had your, you know, Barkleys, your Pennies, guys that kind of piggybacked off of where Jordan was headed.
Yeah.
End of the day, Jordan is what made them what it did, what they made. Like, they had some monumental shoes, like you talk about the band ones, things that kind of came out and that helped push this narrative. Like, well, what's going on? That helped the whole Just Do It campaign, things like that. Of course, I think helped play a role into the persona that was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You put LeBron anywhere, LeBron is gonna be who he is.
Yeah.
Like let's say, for example, like I said, one of the highest selling shoes is LaMelo's right now. You know, Curry has one of the highest selling shoes. Curry has a whole brand. He has a Curry brand now Under Armour.
I mean, and to speak against that, like, Kobe was with Adidas for the first couple of years. Shaq was with, like, 5 other people.
Curry was with Nike.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like,
Yeah, Shaq has the highest selling shoes.
yeah, you know what I mean?
His own entity, I think his entity is under Reebok, I think.
Yeah. And I think when he was doing his own, like with Shaq, they were still selling ridiculously. I think like when his first couple of years or something, he did have like one of the top selling shoes in the country.
I want to say his current joints are still under. I think they're still the highest selling shoes.
Oh, Reeboks? Oh, his Shaq Noises?
No, like the Shaqs, like.
Or like you talking about the Shaq? Oh yeah. No, they are. Yeah.
I want to say.
I don't know if they're the highest, but they definitely are one of them.
I think they sell the most.
Still?
Yes.
Really?
Trying to confirm. Like in terms of like numbers sold. I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of the highest. Let me see. Yeah. So when he launched his own brand, he has sold over 400 million pairs, and they're still available because and it's still growing up because they are able to rise at Walmart or whatever. He sells about 1 million shoes a month, whatever. So yeah, I'm sure he's not upset about what he's doing there. But why I say that, I think he was just crazy. I don't know. Like I think a lot of these guys, like I said, they hang on to like these moments because, like I said, Sebastian Telfair was a guy who was the number 1 ranked out of high school. He came from high school to college. I'm sorry, for high school to the pros, but what he was trying to talk about, I personally didn't understand what he was talking about because, like I said, I think LeBron, if you put him in any box, he's going to be who he is. And now you see guys who are choosing their own routes. So you got James Harden with Adidas. You got, you know what I mean, Damian Lillard. All these guys that are doing it big on their own. Now you got guys that are going, like, you know, with overseas brands like Li-Ning and whatnot. Kyrie left Nike and is doing his thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's,
I
don't think LeBron had to choose Nike.
No, I think I think what he was trying to speak to is just like the casual reception, or that must have been what he was trying to speak to, because like anybody who's like any way, shape, or form proficient in basketball knowledge or anything, like, you know, that all these players would have still been who they are, and they all have shown that they would still have been the players that they have been regardless of where they're at. So like if we're talking just basketball, people who are watching basketball, it's not going to change anything for us. No. Now, if you're a casual and you might not watch basketball, yeah, you might not know of LeBron as much as you do because he's with a different brand. That maybe, yeah, okay. But, like, realistically, you can't even say that low-key because he would just surface that brand to the, you know what I'm saying, to the forefront.
To make them do what they have to do. Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I could piggyback off that and segue to the next topic because I'll speak about former pros. One of the most viral guys, day in and day out, Gilbert Arenas was talking about how important it was for him to have his son playing in a position where he's the best player on the team. And not necessarily because he's the best player on the team, but he's not overly excited about rushing him into an opportunity where he plays like a big school, like a Sierra Canyon or something like that, and that he's allowing him time to develop. Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, he know more than I do.
Yeah,
he was in the league. There's nothing I can say. Like,
why I thought it was important to me is because you can look at the dynamic between a lot of these guys, and why I thought it was important because a lot of people always talk about like, okay, like Gilbert's son. Like, I've watched some of his highlights. Yeah. Elijah Arenas. He's like one of the top ranked
guards, right?
Yeah, I want to say he's a junior. I want to say right now. Could be a sophomore. Yeah, but he's one of the top ranked players, and he's night in, night out dropping like crazy numbers, right? Putting together some ridiculous highlights. He is undoubtedly the best player on his team.
Yeah.
And so he gets triple team night in, night out, etc. He's maybe not playing the most nationally ranked schedule or whatever against the biggest name guys. But I thought it was important because you compare him going through 40, things like that. I've been able to watch kind of like his full clips and react to it on Hoops HQ. But he has to fight through double teams, triple teams, and you can really see from like I think when I first saw some of his footage from like early on in the season to where he's at now, he's really gotten adjusted to the doubles. Yeah. So he knows boom, we must just make this move, pass the first guy, boom, stop, pull up, floater. draw a foul, something. I think it's important because why? Because you look at guys like, let's say, for example, Bronny James. I just use that as a good example because a lot of people are upset at Bronny James' play with, like, first of all, like, he didn't go through a almost life-threatening joint. And people are crazy. And then people are expecting him to do something that he never did. Yeah. Is what I'm saying. They want him to go out there and average 20. Bronny James has never been that guy to do that. Not saying that he doesn't have the capability to do so, but I think mentally you become stunted because they always talk about the game is 80% mental. How else do you develop so much unshakable confidence in yourself when mentally you know it's on me? Yeah. I'm the best player out here, and I got to figure things out to make things happen. If mentally you can, like, for example, he's always been taking a back seat. He came in early at Sierra Kane where they had all the top-ranked guys. And, you know, he's played at AU with all the top-ranked guys. So mentally maybe he's taking a back seat because he's like, it's not my team to do anything. Even, like I say, at USC, he came in like almost the middle of the season where he's got a senior playing in front of him and he's got another freshman guard that was also statistically putting up a lot of points. So he kind of takes a back seat and says, I got to fill my own role here. But I use that as an example to say maybe that stunted Bronny's growth because I think he obviously you put him in the workout right now. He's gonna be talented. He's gonna knock down shots. He can make moves. There's no lack in his ability to play. And that's what I think. Like you said, a lot of people that don't know anything about basketball, they just look at he averages this much points. He's trash. Yeah. Instead of he has the ability to do whatever he does. He just doesn't shoot the ball. He doesn't. You know what I'm saying? He's not. But that's never been his role. Somebody like Gilbert Arenas' son. I've seen every defense now going up in for my senior in high school. I've seen triple teams. I've had to face the best defender every night. So I had to figure out ways to get my shot. Yeah. And mentally, I know if I don't score 30, we don't even have a chance to win this game. So it generates, I think, your aggressiveness. Because I can look at me myself. When I mentally, in my hooping career, had to be handicapped by the idea of it's not on me to score or it's not on me to make plays, it's not on me to X, Y, and Z. Even if I can take it back to, it's not on me to be the best defender on this team. It hindered what my ability was as a player. But once I started realizing I just got to do what I got to do to help us win, that completely changed the whole narrative. When I stepped out of the box of I got to be in this box, in this role for us to be successful, when I just said I just got to play and do what I got to do, that completely changed everything. Yeah. And that's why I thought it was interesting to say, because I could kind of resonate with that I think a lot of these young guys, especially now that are getting social media love, they're getting ranked highly, whatever, because they're playing with these big guys, these big names, big teams, big AAU teams. They get a lot of publicity. They fizzle out when they get to, like, college or the NBA because they never learned what it really takes. Mm-hmm. So when they see tough defense, they're like, oh, what's going on here? They see help defense, what's this? What is this? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When they see closeout, stuff like that, like they kind of lost in the sauce because they never really had to adapt to this role now because at the end of the day, once the better you get, the better the guys are going to get along with you. So no matter what, if you're a good player, like I said, let's say you're the number one option, you're always going to see the number one defender on the other team. But if you're like growing up, if you're the third, it's like the Jordan Poole scenario. When he was making his adjustment to Washington, you were seeing the third best defender. When you get the ball, you didn't have to worry about help defense because you got other guys guarding you, stuff like that. So I get to do whatever I wanted to do, and there's no end of the day, whether we lose or win, it's not really on me because we got Curry, we got Clay. So if y'all want to blame somebody, blame the guys that are the superstars here. Yep. I'm just here to provide a little spark off the bench. Mm-hmm. So then he gets to Washington, and now you're supposed to be the marquee player. His adjustment was now you're not seeing the third or fourth best defender. You got the defense geared towards stopping you. And a lot of players have never seen the defense being geared towards stopping them. Yeah. So it stunts their growth because you see a lot of guys that think fizzle out once they hit college or the pros because they never actually been in that situation where mentally you had to prepare yourself for that. Because like I said, mentally, it's way like it does a lot for your game. Because like I said, you'll develop way better if you're the number one guy. If like I said, for me, when I started practicing and I started picking up guys that weren't not trying to go pick up a squad of the most tall dudes, the best dudes, trying to pick up a bunch of guys that I know I would have to exert more energy for us to win. It helped me develop a lot faster. Yeah. So I think Gilbert Arenas is basically making that point that he thinks that is what's going to help his son, which I completely agree with because, like I said, if you look at a lot of these guys that kind of been coddled their whole career, they don't get
pressure build diamonds, so it's really not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, even if you think it in the most simple terms, like, say they bring in somebody from your job who literally been working in the trenches. Like, they work with the most trash individuals. And they come over there and they just be, like, as soon as they get there, they killing stuff. And it's just like, well, they had to work with people that were garbage. So they had to do everything by themselves. So, you know, like, when everything falls on you, it's so much easier for you to be a leader. Like, because all you know is leading. All you know is doing everything. All you know is having to deliver on every single aspect. So it's like, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. And it's like it creates that level of mastery at every level before I move forward. Like, I've already mastered this. So now I can move forward to this level. And then I get here, and it's not a problem. So I can master this so much faster.
Yeah.
Because I'm already adjusted. I'm acclimated at every level.
Yeah. I think that's important because I can tie it into slightly unrelated but related topic because me and my boy were kind of having this argument. We were talking about why we feel like there's a disparity between black people, American black people, and let's say, for example, Africans.
Yeah.
Because they feel like and we were having this argument. They was like, yo, black people feel like there's like Africans hate them and maybe vice versa. But I was like, I don't think that's the thing. I think it's like any ethnic group that can stem from like maybe a situation where they're in the third world, a poverty situation. Anybody that's in Africa, that's in a bad situation in Africa, if you know, you're in the smaller villages, you're in the you're in some of those impoverished communities. If I see these guys and I see that you have every day have an opportunity to light, water, food, resources, protection, safety, I will flourish in that opportunity. That's why you see, like, if you see, like, for example, like the guys in Mexico are killing themselves to come over here because if I had this opportunity that these guys have, I would be another level.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the same thing. I don't, like, my thing when people have that discussion, it's like it's really an elementary point because it's like, it's the same thing that your parents will tell you, like, when they're growing up, there's, oh, you guys have internet, you have this, that, and the third. If I would have had, it's the same thing. Because, I mean, if somebody that was, you know, prepared and prepped to not have any of these outside resources, electricity for a lot of people, that's like, you know, that's the foundation of every day in the U.S. But like electricity, internet, library, right at the tip of your phone, you know, all this information, which is readily available at any point. I mean, you got to be honest. Like, if you put somebody who's not used to having that and still putting forth the same exact results as you or better, you know, obviously they would do better.
No, yeah.
It's not whether it's a compare and contrast or I'm better than you. No, it's literally you got more, so you could probably do more. And it just, I feel like it's kind of important to kind of like humble yourselves too, because like, dang, sometimes people really do forget how much you have, and like we kind of take it for granted and don't realize how much further we can push things or how much further we can take it just because we have so much.
And I could even segue off of that into a point that I think was interesting that I was listening to Dr. Umar talk about, and I think it's important to say a lot of I think what is pushed, not even to our people, but even to the people, let's say, for example, in other countries, is information that's provided us through the media. Like, Umar was making a point too. Like, he was talking to Yachty. Dr. Umar, if you don't know Dr. Umar, you just need to look him up. He's he calls himself a Pan-Africanist, but he was talking to Yachty. He was like, bro, a lot of the damage that's caused to the black women is stuff that's perpetuated a lot of times from black men. And he was like, Yachty, you're a prime example, because if you think about it, you were in hip-hop and rap, which does a lot of sexualization of the black women. And so a lot of where people's ideas on, let's say, beauty standards, etc., That's where it's generated from what they see in the media. And that got me thinking to say, you know what? I think a lot of people will gather information, like you said, and he was talking about it. He was like, think about somebody who lives in a state where your majority population is white. Let's say, for example, a Maine, where I think it's like 98% or 97% white population. Yeah. If you live in Maine, you don't surround yourself around black people. No. And only thing that's available to you is what you see in the social media, the media, etc. That will, I think, generate some type of in your some type of convulsing reaction a lot of times to certain things, or not necessarily convulsionary response, but also something that I would say is just like you will just generate an idea because of that's the only thing that's been provided to you.
And also, I mean, it skews your perspective just in general.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I know, like, growing up, even though I am African, like, majority of the media that, that you see about Africans is, poverty, poverty, poverty. Like, people genuinely be surprised when they realize there's rich Africans. There's, people have money over there. And it's just like what's pushed to the media. Like, you can say that about every race. Like, they only push what they want you to see. So, like, you gotta keep in mind of that. That's the media is only gonna show one side. It's called framing. Like, there's the entire reality that goes outside of what they're portraying on the screen. And vice versa. Like, a lot of what other countries or whatever will see from us is just portrayed through media. So, their idea of Americans or America, rather than, before they get here, is completely different. It's purely media based. So it's honestly just caricature type stuff for real. So it's like, it's easy to get lost in that. Because most Americans, like, the only Black Americans, like, the only African that they've seen is usually on media, or they might have encountered a couple of friends. Yeah, but like, most people think Michael Blackson. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
he's not. Like, it was even like a thing with Kai Cenat went to Nigeria.
Yeah,
he was like losing his mind. They were all losing their mind off of like Davido. And I'm like, bro, Davido's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like, but in like the highest, I think, concentration of billionaires in the world is in, I think, Nigeria. But like you said, what's pushed in the information is the poverty. Now, granted, there is a large amount of poverty.
Absolutely.
There's poor government and everything like that. But
it's also huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge, like, and that's
Africa,
something too.
Africa is a continent, bro.
I was talking to people about that. They were trying to talk about how I was having this debate on Afrobeats. They were talking about how like nobody listens to it. I was like, that's not true. I was like, are you insane? Yeah. And that's what I was talking about, like how Joe Budden was like making the commentary about how he thinks hip hop is dying out because there's so many other genres of media or music that are kind of flooding the market. But I was like telling people, I was like, yo, are you crazy? Because I was like, your perspective was based on America. Yeah. Like, people were like so surprised, like when they were talking about Bad Bunny being so, they're like, I never heard Bad Bunny. I was like, it doesn't matter if you heard him or not. I was like,
everybody else in the world is.
Do you understand how large the
international market is compared to the U.S.?
I was like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, the same thing. I was talking about the Afrobeats, and they were like, no, I never heard Afrobeats. I'm listening to that. I was like, okay, you don't have to listen to it. If you listen, all right, let's say, for example, rap and hip hop. Majority of the rap and hip hop is going to be listened to in the United States. Just take Nigeria, which is one country. The population in Nigeria is literally over 2/3 of the population in America. So if you just take the audience that's available to Nigerians, just off of Nigeria can surpass majority of the artists. Which, like I said, a lot of them say hip hop is regional based. Anyways, so you're not gonna get majority of the fans in the United States. Yeah. So, and I was like, that's just Nigeria, not to include Ghana, West Africa. They're not talking about North Africa, South Africa. So I was like, but just Africa in itself is way bigger.
Yeah, but that's a collection of like 50-something countries, bro. Right. Like, people are tweaking,
people
bro.
are lost in the sauce. Yeah. It was like, that's what's like the same thing. Like, people talk about K-pop and stuff like that. You do understand that there's people outside of the United States, and there's a vast majority of the population of the world is outside the United States. But yeah, I was at the same argument. Like, are you crazy? But yeah, people don't understand that there's, like you said, information, but that's only, I guess, what's provided to them. I don't make an excuse for it, though, because there is now an opportunity to learn. But I say that to say, I think a lot of the media that's pushed out is pushed out framing us in a certain light. And I was thinking about it, too. a lot of the media that like kind of piggybacking what Umar was saying, a lot of the media that is shared to the world is pushed out from us, and it's destructive coming from us. Like if you think about it, some of the like people pioneers like black media, like a lot of stuff that came out in the 90s, like the gangster flicks, that was like you say, I was looking it up, like Juice, Don't Be a Menace, things like that. Like, what's the movie where they're I don't even know the purpose in the movie, honestly. It's literally just them. Like it starts off with the kid with the braids. They go kill the guy in the grocery store and the gas station store.
Menace Society.
Menace Society. Like all that stuff. I was looking at it the other day. The creators behind it are black people.
Yeah.
Cool. So you painted a great light. Well, you've got an opportunity to paint a picture. But what you've introduced to the media is this
caricature.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just like we were talking about with the Taraji thing. We're like, you've created a lane for black people to be in when you talk about in art, in theater, movies, and they become typecasted as this is what the opportunity you have. If we need a black guy, he's got to be a thug. He's got to be a rapper. He's got to be like, you know what I'm saying? Versus we got to be a slave. How many times we come out with slave movies?
Yeah.
Like that's the something that Umar was talking about, because you don't have these movies. Let's say, for example, when you have these like fully functional families. Yes, maybe nowadays we're starting to see more inclusion, but you have these fully functional families. We're like, okay, the mom's working, the dad's working, like, you know, they're lawyers, doctors. So if you're, like, say, if you're white, you see that stuff, each and every day you're reinforced by the success story. And
then on top of that, like, you got to think, majority of white people don't encounter black people outside, I mean, like, in their everyday life.
That's, like, why I say, I think also, because I could touch on, like I was saying, if you're white and your parents both are successful, your friends' parents are successful, then you go to the media and the parents are successful. You paying for yourself to be successful. Yeah. But then in the media, for black people, it starts at home. If you are, God forbid you be in a broken home to start off with, and then your friends have broken homes, then you start to normalize that, and then you start to see movies, and well, that's perpetuated. So then that's what you frame yourself as. And then, like you said, on the opposite end, if you're another race and that's all you see, that's what you believe it is. If all you see is Juice, Menace to Society, all these movies that people galvanize for the black community, or people like to live to the highest point for the community, and this is the only information that you have to go off on black people, and then you have hip hop, it's like you could see why people might have this kind of skewed idea in their head of how we view us.
I will say, like, we do have a kind of override of, like, I don't know, like, kind of circulating negativity within our community. And it's not necessarily like we won't take all the blame because it's not necessarily all of our fault, but it's just we do have a great role in continuing to perpetuate that rhetoric. So it's like we gotta, you know, because consumption, when what you consume is everything. And I feel like we don't take that into account as much as we should, because I mean we've seen, you know, how people have treated us historically. And then we'll come back around and be like, yeah, here's some more trauma in black plight. And matter of fact, make a movie off of it. And actually, not just make a movie out of it, make a soundtrack about it too.
And then make, I'm saying, and then it's, I saw that success off of that one movie. Let's duplicate that. And then you just start to get a snowball effect of everybody doing this. And like I said, you paint this light of what this race is, because you see these characters, and then you start to see, like I said, people getting typecast in certain roles because this role here is for successful I could jump in this, because he was talking about like that's what he was kind of talking about too. Umar was talking about like this, the structure and what you might see in, like, for example, like Tubi and reality TV. But if you look at it, let's say for example like Zeus TV, their CEO is black. Nothing wrong with that. He's making his money. Sure, he's just somebody who's doing it. But I think the quick jump for a lot of these black creatives is you kind of follow this trend that puts the people in a certain light.
Yeah.
And so you're not further progressing anything for, I think, the community. You're just, yes, you did give jobs, you gave opportunities for those individuals, but like down the line, all you've done is just
typecast them.
Yeah, I'm saying?
Because, I mean, you could speak to like Tyler Perry giving, you know, opportunities and roles to a bunch of actors, but majority of them are typecasted because they can't do anything except for act in a caricature or be the best Negro on screen.
Like
that's literally
a perfect example. Like you got Tyler Perry Studios, great, awesome. You generate a lot of wealth for, you know, the Tyler Perry family.
Yeah,
and you've given a lot of opportunities and jobs and employment for black people, actors, producers, writers, everything. But like you said, you're continuing to push that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Where we're like we talked about, every Tyler Perry movie comes out with there's a black woman that's being hurt by the black man, and she's gonna have to find another idea of what love is, and da 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 da. So it's like you kind of pushing this thing, or you have this black man or person or whatever who's in trouble every day, and so maybe it speaks to people, but it's like you continue like to push out rhetoric that paints us in a certain light, and then you, like you said, you have these actors that can max out in where you're at as an actor because you're not putting yourself like you said, you're not. Let's say, like for example, a huge film that recently dropped was Oppenheimer. I understand that that there's some historical accuracy that you have to portray, but that was talked about because it was such a great movie, and I don't know why a lot of the time, let's say for example, a guy like Brian Coogler, who has really done a lot for black people, you created lanes and narratives and opportunities for black people without necessarily having to paint them off of this negative.
And consider he wasn't consistently focusing on trauma and black.
Yeah.
It looked at it portrayed us in a different light, in which I like directors doing that and taking that initiative to kind of create your own stories and create your own narratives, because you don't have to have a black version of everything if you want to be a black director or a black creator. That's not the only way you can do it, or you don't have to just be a caricature. Because I mean, realistically, if you look at historically, the only thing that they ever award us for is either being a caricature on screen or a historical figure. So it's pretty much just being black. You know what I'm saying? In layman's terms.
It's not facts, like you said.
It's just,
you get awarded, 12 Years a Slave, great movie.
Best Negro. That's the equivalent to what it is. Because it's like, you look at a lot of these black actors and actresses, and like, they're great in their own right. Like, I think they're all talented, but you look at the awards that they win their awards for, and as far as the Academy is concerned, it's never for their best acting performance. It's for it's for the one that they played the best black person on the screen, or the best stereotypical black person, or the best historical figure. Like, it's never we never get any recognition for our original black creators or our black characters.
Other than, like I said, if I could look at it in the last few years, we got Black
Panther was the first.
The only person who won, let's just say, in the last 20 years, starting in the year 2000, Denzel Washington won in Training Day. This is just second African American actor to receive the award for Best Actor. And then it was the first time two African American performers won the same year. Halle Berry won in Monsters Ball. Will Smith was nominated for Ali. He didn't win. Jamie Foxx won Ray Charles. Cool.
But again, historical figure.
Exactly. Terrence Howard was nominated in Hustle and Flow. Don Cheadle was nominated in Hotel Rwanda, historical figure. Forrest Whitaker won
Hustle and Flow, stereotypical.
You know what I'm saying? The Last King of Scotland, Forrest Whitaker won that. Okay. Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith, that was more so an original. Cool, we got nominated. We didn't win. Morgan Freeman, nominated for Nelson Mandela. Denzel Washington, nominated for Flight. 12 Years a Slave, nominated. Daniel Kaluuya was nominated for Get Out. I didn't know he didn't win that. Chadwick Boseman, nominated for Levy Green and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Will Smith won for King Richard.
Historical figure.
You know what I'm saying?
Stereotypical black guy.
So in the last 20 years, we got 3 people that won.
Which and it's not at all knock to their,
That's their credit,
greatness,
for sure.
But it's just look at what you have to do for you to be nominated. You either have to put on this outstanding, because look at any of the years where they were nominated. To us, it's an absolute amazing acting performance.
No, yeah.
Regarded, it's not even just to us. I would say widely regarded. All of these movies and all of these films are regarded as high cinematic classics, or these are beautiful pieces of work. You know what I'm saying? Even the ones that outside of the confines they were nominated by, they're still great pieces of work, great acting performances. But it's just most times, 9 times out of 10, you might get nominated if you just put on that great of a performance. And that Denzel, what did he get nominated for? I think it was Training Day
So he got nominated. So if I would just say,
it was nominated for.
He got nominated for Malcolm X.
Yeah, that was the one.
He won Training Day.
Right. So, again, you either got to do one or the other for me to be up there. And I think, personally, I think Training Day was just a pity because they didn't give it to him for Malcolm X.
No, yeah.
But I mean, they were both great performances. But I feel like there was a little bit of funny business with that because he should have got one for Malcolm X.
No, yeah.
But that's I mean, every time that's the only thing they're gonna award us for is either being a great historical figure or being a stereotypical black person on screen. Even Monique, I think she got nominated or nods for Precious. You feel me? Stereotype. If you further a stereotype, yeah, we got love for you, bro.
Nah, facts. Yeah, nominated for Precious. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And that made me really think about it. I was like, damn, we were actually doing consistent, not necessarily damage, but damage.
Yeah.
To definitely, like I said, if I could speak to what we're doing in entertainment and music, yes, I could definitely say damage. To the next generation for sure. And like you said, we're putting ourselves in a box with how we create art. I would definitely say. And
we're also not putting, because I won't sit here and act like this is the only stuff that is out. It's not. The stuff that gets pushed to the masses and the stuff that gets pushed mainstream is not. It's not the only stuff that's out. There's always been people making stuff that consists of great subject matter, positivity, and whatnot. It's always there. But a lot of that stuff doesn't get pushed to the forefront, and we've got to do a better job as a people of pushing that stuff to the forefront.
Supporting that type of stuff. Because at the end of the day, like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would you go against the grain when you know that there's a certain, like you said, there's a certain piece of art that's gonna get generated, that's gonna be pushed to the front. I kind of agree with that, and I think it's important too because we gotta have people that are the voices, and that's something that was interesting to me too. Is that we have a lot of voices in the community, but it's always like that same conversation about we take $1 million or the dinner with Jay-Z. So I was transitioning to that, but it's funny because. Like, say, for example, okay, what really brought me to it was I was thinking about the Jay-Z thing, but then also I was listening to a conversation that was it was Michael B. Jordan. He was just doing a recent interview, and he was just talking about his difficulties with dating, life, anxiety, and his growing up and everything like that. And it was called an intrusive interview, so it's about him being vulnerable and to share information. But I thought about something which I see a lot. But made me think about it. Just like how we have there's talks of where, for example, that when Kevin Hart goes on and talks about you just gotta work hard and you can da. It all kind of came full circle to me when I was watching the Michael B. Jordan joint because I was like, granted, Michael B. Jordan was definitely spitting gems. I think I like Michael B. I like the way he thinks, man. He's really creative. I can tell he's really talented. But it was interesting because I saw people talking about how great it was to see Michael B. Jordan being vulnerable. And I was like, and they were like, it brought me to the idea of thinking, he's not in a business, you can't compare Michael B. Jordan to the rest of us. And he kind of spoke about it because he was talking about his relationship and how that's been hard finding dating relationships because he's like, it's where I am in life. Now, it's not feasible for me to find who I am. And I could touch base off the second point of that. But it's like I said, I don't think that we should allow celebrities to be the voices for us, specifically in the community, because you don't know what it's like in the normal person's walking day shoes. Now, granted, for example, let's take Michael B. Jordan. He was somebody who absolutely came out of New Jersey and had his process growing up and his livelihood growing up. There's definitely nothing to disparage there, but I think it's interesting when you have guys like Kevin Hart, let's say Michael B. Jordan, LeBron James, and then people are saying that I should take, or Jay-Z, and it's, do I take the $1 million to dinner with them? You don't live in the same shoes as them. Why? There's people, what unites people is that they're in an entertainment world. And let's say, for example, Kevin Hart tells you, if you just work hard, and it doesn't matter what he tells you, because yes, there's a gem to working hard and staying the course and staying focused. It's like what we talked about with the Desi thing.
Yeah.
Truly, you can't discount who that person is. Mm-hmm. It's like we talk about people, like if they talk about, man, Michael Jordan went in there and got cut from his JV team, it doesn't matter. He's Michael Jordan. Yeah. He's still 6'6" with a 40-inch vertical, still with somebody with an ability to play basketball, whatever. If you aren't 6'6" with a 40-inch, you can't even, that's mindset you really shouldn't
have.
Like, you know what I'm saying? you can have a mama mentality, you can have dedication, you can have drive. But to whittle that down to, like I said, for example, Kevin Hart talking about I don't understand why this. When people were talking about Michael B. Jordan, it's so refreshing to see a vulnerable black man. He's not in the same position as the rest of us.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan, if he goes on and does an interview talking about his vulnerability and his growth and development as a person, it's PR.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm on a press run. All this does is generate more following and fans for me, because now you have people that can relate to me on a sentimental value, on a more of a personal note. Yeah. You can relate to me. Michael B. Jordan is far removed from the life that you are living. Mm-hmm. Why? Because, like I said, there's something here that he did that was able to generate him $1 million. Talent and, let's say, fame. Say that with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, savvy businessman. He's a hard worker. End of the day, he had a ridiculous talent, which was comedy, and that was able to get him in the entertainment world, and it opened doors for him to get into acting, business, etc. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody has an opportunity to work hard and find something that they love to do, but I always find it interesting that we find people that are celebrities and we allow to speak to them to whittle it down to, nowadays people will listen to, like you said, for an example, let's just say, for an example, Sexy Red and what she says, and people will find that as law. I think it's interesting that we allow these celebrities to speak for the normal class. And like I said, like, if one last point I'll touch on that is, if, like, for example, they go to the Grammys or something like that and they win, and there was like big talk about how when a lot of the black artists are getting up there and throwing like a scene, which I think you should be happy, but it made me think about it, and they talk about this is for the black, we're not in the same. And I think it's somewhat destructive of mindset to think like that. But truly, why I say that to say is there's a little bit of let me clarify, there's a little bit of an ignorance I feel like they have towards.
No, definitely.
Once you, as a celebrity, period, don't even have to be nothing with being black. Let me even remove being black out of that situation. As a celebrity, once you ascend to a certain status of fame and money, they almost forget what it's like to be a working class person without the fame and money. Even if you're a millionaire business owner, your life is not going to be the same as Michael B. Jordan's or Drake's or something like that. And so I find it interesting that we allow celebrities to speak for the normal person.
Yeah.
Long story short.
We were kind of talking about that a little bit on the last podcast when we were talking about, like, people kind of setting the precedent for dating and a lot of these rappers and whatnot speaking up. But I say that to say, like, I've always been somebody who's like, why is this person speaking for me when he makes 20 times as much money as I make a year?
Yeah.
And then, like, I saw an interview. It was a roundtable talk where it was Mark Wahlberg, Denzel Washington, a couple other actors. I can't remember all of them, but they were sitting in the table. Yeah,
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
And Mark Wahlberg was pretty much like talking about how during the process of filming, it was just so strenuous and so taxing on his body, and it was just so tiring. He was like, "This is such hard work," and then Denzel had to stop him and was just like, kind of chimed in and was like, "Buddy, we're acting. Like we're pretending to be somebody on screen. This is not hard work. I used to be a trash man.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? I used to have to pick up trash on 7 blocks in this amount of time. That was hard work. Or somebody sending their kid to the military. For me, that's hard. This isn't hard. This is a leisure. This is luxury. We're doing what most of the world and like this. Again, this is where a lot of people be like they get into that situation. They get far removed from reality. So they'll say like, you get streamers like a lot of times do that too. Like they'll be in this generation. They'll be like, "Oh, but no, you guys don't understand." They're talking to their chat. You guys don't understand, bro. This is so hard. Like I'm sitting here. I have to sit here 4 hours a day, bro, and I have to sit here and play the game, and I have to talk to y'all. When it's like, buddy, majority of us are doing that for free. We're doing this for free, and we're not getting paid for it.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you gotta like you as somebody of that status, you gotta remove yourself.
Nah, I'm saying
from like the conversation.
That's
totally.
What I was kind of mean. Yeah.
Because you literally don't understand, and you are so far removed that there's nothing that you can say that even like there's nothing that you can say that will even connect with your viewer in any way, shape, or form because you just don't understand. Like you live a completely different life. I'm watching you do the same thing that I'm doing at home for free.
You know what I'm saying?
You get what I mean?
And it's like you said, we got into the debate with Darius about the tricking thing.
Yeah.
And he would talk about it ain't tricking if you got it. And that's like I think that's a backwards mindset to say, how can you take yourself so far out of frame just because you have access to money that it alleviates the corniness or the lameness or of what you're doing? Just because you have access to something, that doesn't necessarily negate who you are. And it's the same thing. Like I said, I have an ability to separate. Like I could talk about music, an artist from their work, but I still can understand at the end of the day, this is still a person. At the end of the day. So regardless of, like you said, whether you have money, this, I shouldn't be able to distance you that far from what you have or your ability to X, Y, and Z create this thing. Like I said, so I don't. That whole argument I think is funny. Like you said, I think even like I think there was NBA guys that talked about that and they were like, you know, how difficult it is. But the NBA was like, well, I could be doing a lot worse. This is not real hard. There's people that die every day, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
They're really fighting battles. Like you said, I think a lot of people aren't able to really remove themselves from where they are, and that they come to this position where they're like almost talking down to people as if, I don't know why you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, if a lot of people would desire to do what you're doing, but a lot of people don't have that that secret sauce that got them to that realm.
Yeah, whatever it is.
You know what I'm saying? And I had, in the same breath, it made me want to think about that. Because I think it's interesting on the adverse end of things. People can look at somebody and what they do and how they present themselves and dial them off a certain way. It's like you don't know them. So I found it interesting. Let me touch on this. So Drake got recently exposed because he had been DMing women or whatever. And so people were, I guess, to social media's eyes, fumbling the bag, which I think is just so interesting because there was like a girl that went and posted her, that little baby DM'd her, and then she didn't reply, and he blocked her. But she like posted the whole encounter, which I thought was interesting because it was like, why? But whatever. Then there was another woman that posted Drake had DM'd her, and there was another woman right after that posted Drake DMing her, and he was like, "Body is tea," and it sparked an argument because a lot of people were saying, no matter what, this guy's still gonna be corny. First of all, I think there's something wrong with people that have to, like, that feel like they gain some oof from like somebody who has fame or whatever. Shorty, I mean, it's not that difficult for me to see something I like visually, and a lot of it, like I don't know about the two other shorties. The first one's the one I looked into, the one that the little baby thing. I just look at the comments and say somebody was just like, what is her page? And somebody just said she has OnlyFans. So there you go. So it's pretty.
Yeah.
easy to imagine the type of content she's posting on her page or Instagram or whatever that would entice somebody to DM you and think this is probably a layup for me. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, at the end of the day, I said it to say these guys are dudes, so it's not crazy for a guy to find you attractive, regardless if he has money or fame. And I find it funny because people were really going off like, I'm like, Drake is so corny. And it was like, your only evidence of this is he DM'd the shorty and said the body is to you. I thought it was funny because I was like, I wouldn't say that. But sure, grown man, you using TikTok slang. Thought it was funny. Yeah. But I mean, maybe he thought that was funny too.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just bored.
I feel like from the outside looking in, you don't have a dog in the fight because it's what do you? Okay. So, you're going to say he's corny because you saw one message from him.
You know what I'm saying?
Or one thing from somebody. And I'm not saying that he's not or whatever, but like, even if he is, what does that do for you? That's my thing. Like, feel me? If you have the time and the energy to, say, he's so corny. Yeah.
You don't know him.
You not gonna get her.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not gonna help you get her.
And you feeling in some type of way because you can say, oh yeah, he's corny, he's lame. Like, if he walks in the room right now and your girlfriend's right there, she's gone.
Yeah. It's like, it ain't to put him on no pedestal, but it's bro, let's be honest. Like that is you throwing your last attempt to say,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. A hater.
He's corny. Where you gonna? He's Drake.
You probably DM the same shorty and she didn't reply to you either. You know what I'm saying? And
like, who would say that? It's like, bro.
I find that just so funny because people were so quick to comment on how they believe somebody is. Now, I will say, in that same breath, I think something is wrong with Meek Mill because he does go online and talk about stuff that literally doesn't make sense. Yeah, I baffled that this guy has this much money.
I think.
I'm sorry, not this much money. You can have money and not be right in the head. I think he has like CT or something like that.
Yeah, I think he really just needs. I don't know. I just
guidance.
He just needs. Yeah, he needs a team or somebody behind him, or just somebody to manage his media. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with him. Like realistically, but I just think for me, somebody. I just think he needs to get off social media. Realistically, like that's my. I wouldn't even say he needs a team to manage his social media. He needs to get off because like. Realistically, majority of Meek Mill's audience, we're not checking in for him on social media. No way. Like you hearing about Meek Mill.
So
I ain't gonna lie. Like 90% of the things I've been hearing about, bro, as of lately, are not music related. No. So it's just like.
There you go.
The music is going to speak when the music speaks, but like none of this has anything to do with music.
I thought that was important to say because I don't know if I brought this up the last time we were talking in the pod. We were talking about him first crashing out with academics and how a lot of artists, I think, don't understand the role that academics plays in the media world. And I think they're oblivious to it. And academic spoke on it before. He was like, a lot of y'all don't realize these artists that beef with me, the label owners reach out to me to promote their music. So I'm a conduit to whether or not you eat. Funny enough, this is when he was, I think, he mentioned this while he was beefing with Glorilla. Cool. I don't think he was beefing with her. I would take it back. But I think they had an argument online. Interestingly enough, he went on it with academics. Meek Mill did. And Meek Mill just dropped a tape. And the tape did 6,000 copies.
I didn't even know he dropped the tape.
There you go. But like you said, got completely clouded by you just being dumb online. And instead of you taking time to really push your tape, you arguing with academics online, feeling like that's going to do something. And it was funny because he was really online talking about, I'm a master marketer.
Yeah. I remember that.
No, you sold 6,000. You didn't do well at all.
Yeah.
Marketing anything. Like, they were literally, like, everyone was guffawing at the City Girls for putting together terrible. Meek Mill, I'm following that same path. So I thought it was funny, too, because I think he just went on his rant, basically, online, and I'll pull up some of the tweets. He started off with saying, I want a podcast deal. I have so much to say on many different levels. If a podcast or business,
he doesn't need to be anywhere near a microphone if it's not rapping.
And it was like, I've always been my own media, and I want to join the culture of black media. So I don't know what he means by that. But anyways, I want to partner with somebody who's already good in the business, not just dive in. 2 episodes a month. I also think he's oblivious because I don't think that's how, if he's joining a successful podcast, more than likely they probably do more than 2 episodes.
Yeah. Maybe he just needs to be, maybe he just want to be available.
But I don't, you know what I mean? What to the podcast owner, that would be interesting. Now, I ain't gonna lie, if you want to join the Qrewcast,
you know what I'm saying?
for 2 episodes a month,
Come on.
I got some things I gotta talk to him about. But I think you could probably kick some game this way too. And if you wanted to help, fund or whatever, help us, we grow together as a unit.
You know what I mean?
All right, then that'd be interesting. But I think Academics offered him a deal, and then he was
Academics offered him a deal?
Yeah, because Academics has a podcast. Well, he has a podcast deal with Spotify, and he was like, whatever, you could. It may have been facetious. But he offered him the numbers. I think it was up front to $1 million. We do 52 episodes a year, which is I think he said 1 a week instead of 2 a month. He was like, you can get 50% of the sponsorships if you, whatever. Meek Mill was like, no, because I want to get into media and rap. I want to tell reform stories about the system, let others share their stories, and address all propaganda. Uplift the black culture, stop beefs publicly. It's going to be called culture currency. Teach the level of business knowledge I know from the streets being... I don't know how you keep talking about that. Why do you have to tie the streets into everything? Stop. Around extreme wealth. How you had the show on Spotify with fueling street beefs. I want that type of opportunity. Anyways. I thought it was interesting. But why I find it interesting that he made this whole point to wrap and sum things up. You are Meek Mill.
Yeah.
Go start a podcast. It's why are you... one thing about... And I was telling Derek, but I don't know why people that have access and money talk about things they want to do.
Yeah.
Do it.
Bro, I be having this conversation so much. Dame Dash was on the Breakfast Club, or he was on some podcast or some radio show, and he was talking to one of the members. They were like, yeah, I think it was All the Smoke or something like that, bro. And it might have been Steven Jackson, but one of them was like, yeah, I want to start making movies. I want to start directing movies. And he was he turned the other way and he looked at him. He was like, and he was like, yeah, I really don't know where to start. I don't have any, I don't know. I don't have none of this stuff. He's just like, you're a millionaire, right? And he was like, yeah. He's like, okay, you got a phone? He was like, yeah. He was like, okay, so you can hire everybody to do what you need to do. And if you don't want to do that, you can film it on your phone and hire somebody else to edit it for you. What are you talking about? And he was just like, I guess when you put it like that, it's right. And it's bro, it's what is wrong with you? It's what do you get so, I wouldn't even say far removed because it's how, I don't even, it's
what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Literally. And it's the same, it ties a little bit into, because I was going to bring up a point of money and access. And then we were going to talk about, people always talk about Floyd Mayweather because he recently flexed that he spent $7 million in a Gucci store. Yeah. And they were like, where are the banks, the schools, the churches, things that you could be doing to build up the community? Yes, I understand he does have the TBT and he does have successful opportunities that he's getting to young boxers and promoters, whatever. But yeah, I never understand how these guys talk about it. And like I said, it ties into even we were talking about last week with the J.R. Smith thing. Where all those athletes were talking about man, what do we do? How do we play basketball? Y'all can, what are you talking about?
Combined net worth of $40 billion
Y'all
in
can
a row.
start your own NBA team, bro.
Insane, bro.
You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about right here? Y'all could go start your own team. You don't, literally, at 31 first teams in the NBA, you, like you said, it's a combined net worth of $1 billion, bro. Y'all could get something shaking. What are we talking about here? But yeah, that's it just irks me.
It blows my mind, bro.
I don't understand how you have not only money, but you are in studios in every city and each and every day. Why can you not go start a podcast?
It's crazy. And that is so crazy to me because Steven Jackson or whoever was saying it was sitting there I don't have access to none of this stuff. and you're literally sitting on a podcast set with a whole crew of directors, cast members, cameramen, just managers and set, you know what I'm saying? A whole type of people, personnel. And it's just like, bro, literally all you got to do is say, y'all trying to make a movie for me? And you're good. Like, that's the most insane thing, bro.
Like, there's got to be some type of manager there that, hey, look, when you guys booked, when you guys filmed, I want to do something similar when you guys are not free. It's literally, let me know what the cost is. I want you to handle it, so set it up just like this. Like you don't even have to do anything. And I think literally just do it.
I really want to say maybe it's the fear of like, or they just don't want to like be that hands. I don't
get it because you don't have to.
Yeah, like
you don't have to do anything.
You literally just
get somebody to do it.
That's what I don't understand.
Hey, I'll figure it out. Hey, look, I hire you. Like you said, literally, you're on a podcast. You're the manager that runs this whole operation.
Yeah.
When you guys free, how much does this cost? If I do film this 2 days, like set it up for me. You know what I'm saying? Here's my invoice or whatever. Like, what the heck are we talking about? Like, I get it now. I understand there's a little bit more logistics that have to go in and stuff like that, but it is almost that easy for you to just
because you know the people. It's like it's not like you have to. You don't really have to go through all the ins and outs. You just, hey, you know, if there's anything that comes up, just let me know. I mean, you walk me through it, whatever. But you know, I got the money. You know, whatever.
There's plenty of people that are silent partners of plenty of businesses. You have.
It's very easy to be the executive producer, bro.
You have a plethora of people that fund businesses anywhere from real estate to the smallest thing, probably small business you probably known about that somebody has contributed money to. I don't need to be hands on at all. I just need a percentage of this profit. Figure it out,
bro.
I'll fall back.
Drake was a silent investor in Euphoria, I think, or an executive producer of Euphoria.
Chris Brown owns 12 Burger Kings. Just in the smallest thing, that's a Burger King. Chris Brown ain't going in there flipping no patties.
Yeah.
Here's how much does it cost to start a Burger King? Okay. I want somebody to research the land, research the area. Let's get some managers. I'll float the bill. I'll figure it out. Chris Brown does what he does.
Yeah.
And then sees the revenue profit split. And that'd be just so crazy because these dudes be talking about stuff they're so passionate about. Like, for example, me, I can say, I want to do this, but like I have to consider time, job. You are in a space.
You don't have to consider any of that.
Like, especially like if you're talking about like Meek Mill on a podcast, you can go up there on a podcast and say anything you want to because it's not gonna affect your job, which is music. Some people go on a podcast or whatever and they start talking too provocatively. My boss will be like, "Oh, yo, what are you doing?" You know what I'm saying? There's nothing stopping you from. Okay, maybe you're busy, but like you can
work around your own schedule.
You can literally do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I could speak to, but there's plenty of people that run stuff like that or like something that have some type of business going that it works.
Rick Ross is who he's signed to. I don't know if he's still signed to him now, but that's who he originally signed to.
Yeah,
Rick Ross is full-time entrepreneur, rapper, whatever. He owns like I don't know how many Wingstops, owns whatever the dude is owning. He owns an Angus farm now.
Kevin Hart has Heartbeat Productions.
You know what I mean? But this is like Meek Mill. This is somebody he's directly this is
your man's.
This is your man's. So you talking about you know what I'm saying? Like in Kevin Hart, that's another one of his man's. The same city. They both Philly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You talking about podcasts.
Like there you go right there. Because he's talking about I want to go on this podcast and talk about these wealth and these room. Your man's is Michael Rubin, Billy owner, billionaire. Like, what have you learned?
You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't somebody come and get you up out of jail? You already know you got the connections, bro.
Like, what?
What's going on?
Bro, oh my God. Bro, that's, like, Meek Mill, I hate that you had to be an example for that. But, like, bro, like, I never understand people that, like, there isn't, now, I understand, like, to certain endeavors, there is, like, a cap on, like, like, if you got to talk about millions of dollars, like, But
yeah, you're gonna need people to collaborate with you.
you know
But
what I'm
like,
saying? Like, but
it doesn't. But like for Steven Jackson or whoever was just making that point, you're not coming in here being the next Billboard off of one movie. So independent people, or you feel me? There's independent production companies that make movies, multiple movies a year, and they're not putting forth they're not putting forth millions and billions on billions and millions and millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You can do it.
perfect example. Another example. In the same breath, Logan Paul, this dude, boxing. He's running a whole prime company in the WWE
While still podcasting.
while still podcasting and creating content. Like, what do we? Jake Paul, same thing. So, if you like needed to, like, it could be done.
Mike Tyson's doing the same thing.
Bro,
Like,
yeah, he's got a podcast as well. You're right. So,
like even people in his space, like even in rap, Drake is in I don't know how many things. Has so many brand deals,
Bro.
owns this, owns that, is doing collaborations with Nike, he's getting his own signature
Travis
shoe
Scott.
shop. You feel me? Kanye
oh my
is
gosh.
I don't know what he's not doing at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like you can't sit like you literally don't have any excuse because everybody that is in all those industries, y'all all be in the rooms together. They're in the phone call away, and y'all be in all the same rooms together.
Room. What are y'all talking about?
And I don't get it. And Meek Mill, because it's like a lot of people don't know this. Meek Mill has been in movies before. Like
Yeah.
he's acted before. He's been in movies. He's been in TV shows.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Like that oblivious? Like what's going on?
Like he's not new to this, bro. He's been around
like
media.
you said, even if like you are oblivious to what's the process of going, like you said, somebody's helping you with the label.
Yeah.
Somebody's helping you with the.
So somebody's gonna help you
know
here.
what I'm saying?
You don't gotta do it by yourself.
Oh man, that is something that blows my mind. I don't understand how people talk like that. And I could piggyback off of that to talk about, like you said, the money and access thing. I thought that was interesting because somebody brought up a good point. Because you know the guy, KB Lane.
Yeah.
The guy from TikTok. He's from Senegal actually. But yes, he basically, I guess that he showed up some fashion show with his girlfriend. His girlfriend's a model.
Yeah.
And the people were talking about, man, look what money will do. And somebody made a great point because they said it's not necessarily money. That's why I say why when I always add in caveats, I always say money and fame, because it's like once you have that fame or money, you can put yourself in a certain room that allows you access to plenty of things. The same thing we were just talking about the Meek Mill thing. Not only do you have money and fame, but now that you're in these rooms, you have access to opportunities that most people won't have access to. How does that make sense? Because like we were talking about, it's like even we piggyback off of like so many different avenues how this makes that like struck relevance with me. Is like you said, we were talking about the whole tricking thing last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's say for example, a Future, you don't have to spend $50,000 on a shorty because off the strength you're in the room with a woman who knows you are Future.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Because off the strength, for you to try to show her who you are,
Future.
she knows who I am.
Yeah.
It's the same breath to say, like we talked about, like I was talking about, I was speaking about Michael B. Jordan earlier, but his counterpart in Creed 3,
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors. For example, he's like dating Megan Good.
Mm-hmm.
Just randomly run across these type of women. You are in a scenario and when you have the opportunity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, Tom Holland, but he bags Zendaya. Like, if you're on the street, you like. I think it's important to say, if I bring it all full circle, if I'm on the street, just in the dating realm of things, I could say, man, this woman who's a mega star in Hollywood is so beautiful. Seems like her mind's on straight, etc., etc., etc. Obviously, you having the money and maybe living a similar lifestyle to this woman is a caveat.
Yeah.
But like I always say, everyone is just people.
Yeah.
So you can get in the room. Let's say Tom Holland. It's like, bro, like Zendaya talked about it. He's like, bro, he's just his charm, personality. All I needed to do was it's like sales. Like I said, all I need to do is just get my foot in the door to make this deal. So if I meet this person, whether it's for an opportunity, for relationship, whatever, if I found this woman attractive all this time, I don't need an opportunity to kick game.
Mm-hmm. It's the same. It's the same conversation where Like back in the day, it's not as prevalent now, but where artists used to go to the record label and try to go out there and start rapping.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. All you need is an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These are millionaires and who they riding. You caught them on the street.
Yeah.
All you need is an opportunity.
Yeah.
As soon as y'all can connect like people, for me, it's up.
And I agree to that because I can bounce off of that to say like now, like you said, on the business aspect of things, like now, like with fame, clout, you have an opportunity to get in the rooms. Like there's a clip I think of Billie Eilish with like TikTokers I think it was like the Grammys or something like that. And there was like a shorty that was there with Billie Eilish. She has like I think like 30K on TikTok. So she was like, I'm not like super big on TikTok, but I was in the Grammys with Billie Eilish.
Yeah,
that was interesting to say. You had an opportunity now to be immersed with some of America's elite, at least in the entertainment world. So the top of your job, or say, and it became accessible to you. So now, like you said, somebody that might have been like, "Oh, all I need is an opportunity to do." You found yourself in a way to cross paths with this person. And I think nowadays, especially with social media, you have an opportunity to bridge that gap a lot easier. Because like I said, a woman that has 30K on TikTok that probably hasn't contributed as much to society as Billie Eilish has.
Yeah.
I found a way to be in the same room with her and be regarded almost as if we were on the same plane because we're both there as guests at the Grammys, one way or another. We're right the next table to me or whatever. He had a conversation with Billie Eilish. They're posing her videos, everything like that. But that is what I think too, which I thought was a good point for not only for relationships but also business, and like just opportunities in life, because you just like they always talk about. Sometimes it's not even it's not what you know, but who you know. Like you said, a lot of times you would just get connected with just because of like just playing people who talk. Like I think it was John Cena was talking about that. Like he was like, I was listening to an interview with him and Logan Paul. He was like he got into the Barbie movie because he was like, yo, Margot Robbie, I love Margot Robbie. I always wanted to do a movie with her. And the Barbie movie seemed like it was a great opportunity. I always wanted to be like in a Barbie movie because he wanted to be a Ken or something like that, but he never was able to book a role or anything like that. He said it just so happened that like he was at a dinner one day, and Margot Robbie was in the dinner or whatever. So he was like, well, and one of them tapped her, and he thought she was gonna like spaz on him. He was like, oh, John Cena, a big fan, whatever. And then he just kind of jokingly was like, oh yeah, I want to be in Barbie. She's like, what? Do you really? And he's like, oh yeah, I mean, but it's not. She's like, oh no, whatever. Whoop made the call and got him like a character in the Barbie movie, and like they were already like halfway done filming or whatever, but he was able to get that, and then he was just so crazy that the same thing. He was like, but you can end up in situations that you won't even know. A lot of times can benefit you, but it's really just like you said about getting your foot in the door. And same thing how he talked about with like how he got into the WWE and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, if I could bring it back full circle to even talk about the relationship thing, I think a lot of people put people on pedestals, and it's like you said, they're no different than the rest of us. It's just they're in a different point in life. But all you need is, like you said, the access and opportunity. You can make it happen. And I agree too. That's why they probably talk about like a lot of these people in like entertainment business date the same people because they're exposed to the same people on a regular basis. Yeah. But that's something I can go off on forever. But I thought that was interesting and a good point to say. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I just think there's a lot of opportunity for growth. I think all over. And as we kind of head to the end, I don't know if there's anything in particular I had to recommend. I do want to see. Actually, no, take it back. I do want to see that new King Kong movie that's gonna come out.
Yeah, I'm definitely catching that.
There's a movie that just came out. Oh yeah, I started watching the Wonka movie. I'm gonna finish that probably.
Is it good so far?
Yeah, it's like a musical. I wasn't expecting that. Like I said, I've gotten this thing where I stopped watching trailers as much.
Yeah.
Like I said, less than like I have to. Like if I'm in a movie watching it, I've tried to stop watching trailers so I can come into that completely
blind.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, a lot of these trailers they literally expose everything. Yeah. But I do want to watch that. Oh yeah, that Quiet Place. Seen that? I ain't gonna lie, I saw the trailer for that. I didn't even want a teaser for that.
It's a third one, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were making another one.
Yeah, they got another one.
The first two were good though.
Yeah, the first one was fire. But I'll never forget. I was thinking about that the other day. I remember we was in the Quiet Place movie watching that joint, and like people were like mad at you for talking. I was like, you know, this entire movie is quiet.
Yeah.
Me talking, not gonna do anything. But I guess it ruined the suspense. But that's one thing I will say is that like the experience I think of being able to watch a movie at your house, I think it's just like unmatched versus like being in a theater.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are certain movies I think are better fit. Like Quiet Place when it first dropped, watching that in the theater was pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I think that they got a new Ghostbusters coming out. I literally just saw a commercial for that the other day when I was actually, I think yesterday I was watching the game. I said, yeah, I'm cool on that too.
Won't be watching that.
It's that old boy from Ant-Man in it.
Won't be watching that.
I didn't really like the last one they did. That sounds like you can keep a lot of that stuff.
I'll be honest, I don't. It's not my. They don't have to make any more. They don't have to make any more of those.
No, they were cool. I think with the first one, the first song, and that was good. But you know, I think I could touch on that before we head out. There's no originality. Everything coming out now is a remake, a reshoot, brought to life. They're even doing. I think I just saw X-Men is doing a reimagined. Because they had the animated series in '92 to '97. They're doing a reimagined like HD X-Men, where they're probably gonna come out with a couple new episodes or probably piggyback off something. But basically, it's the same thing, but they just.
And it's animated?
HD, yeah. And like literally the first show is animated. Yeah. It's the same style. The animating is the same style and everything like that. It's just HD.
Cool on that.
They really
they're in shambles though. Like the entertainment
they're
in
putting
general
together any type of I agree. They're putting together mad content. Monkey Man, I did see that. It looked like a Indian John Wick. I saw the trailer for that. You see that?
Yeah.
That's
I'll probably catch that one live.
Well, it looks good, but yeah, it definitely looks like it's like the Indian John Wick. Probably watch Godzilla.
Yeah, I'll catch that. What's it called? Civil War is supposed to be coming out soon too.
Yeah, I think Elijah was telling me about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out because Leave the World Behind was really good.
Oh yeah, they got another Planet of the Apes coming out.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I rewatched Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I'm down to watch
I'm definitely gonna watch that one.
They definitely one of my favorite series. If where's Ryan Reynolds? I do want to see the Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They got Bad Boys 4 coming out in June.
I'll catch that. I ain't gonna lie, I'll catch it. I think personally they could have stopped at the last one, but whatever.
Yeah, they were good.
The way that they ended the last one, they should have just ended it.
That just goes on the lack of.
Yeah.
Dang, wasn't the Quiet Place? Another thing, at the end of the year, what's going on? Oh yeah, Quiet Place. That comes out in June. Sheesh. But they got Lupita starring in it. Lupita Nyong'o. So, looks. I'll show you the trailer after. I guess we get off if you want to see it. But yeah, I saw like the sneak, or whatever they call it, to that. I did watch Avatar. We talked about that in the last pod. I think I've started to rewatch Snowfall, or try to actually get through Snowfall. And I'm trying to think if there's another show I started. Oh yeah, Invincible finally returned. I gotta like rewatch the whole Invincible now because be honest, that whole mid-season break blew me.
I don't know. I was watching a TikTok video about Invincible, but I don't know what they're doing with that show. It's like Amazon. It's like they make shows with the intent of them getting canceled, bro.
Yeah, because why did you set them up like that?
Yeah, like they have such strong beginnings to their shows, and they just be like, "We're gonna take a 4-year break," and it's just like, why?
That blew me. So yeah, they just finally brought that one back to Amazon or whatever. I think it's the second half of the season.
Yeah.
So I did watch it, but literally I'm so lost now again because it's been so long. I gotta restart, like at least the last episode or whatever. I'm excited for The Boys to re-release.
Yeah, I'm ready. It's about
that
time,
is a show.
Bro.
Everyone that like just kept telling me to get into that, and it took me forever. But when I finally got into that, I told you I watched that, and I watched the spinoff show too. Like I knocked those things out. Yeah, definitely I would recommend. So definitely my recommendation of the week gotta be The Boys. If you haven't watched that, if you like superhero gore, The Boys and Invincible, I think are like at least a really good spinoff of what superheroes would be like in the real deal today's world.
I don't think I watched that. Crazy.
I'm excited for the Garcia fight, but that's next month.
Yeah.
Anything else that's pertinent to me? Don't got nothing on top of my head. You got anything else?
I don't think I have any movies or anything, any recommendations.
So I don't think I've seen anything too crazy.
Yeah, I really haven't watched too much, honestly.
No, yeah.
I've been watching
on the WWE, so
I've been watching BMF and Power. I know everybody that watches Power, y'all know, season getting canceled. The show's getting canceled.
That.
But that's what they're probably gonna start doing with all the shows. So we're gonna see.
Oh yeah.
4 seasons out of everything on the Star Universe, and then they're moving on because the budget's increasing way too fast. So
yeah, because guys I think are blowing up, and they're gonna start asking for more money.
yeah, I mean they're getting ridiculous amounts of money.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, they're cashing out, bro. And just like with the aesthetic, I know the wardrobe budget and everything.
Yeah.
It's through the roof. It has to be because
Yeah.
they're literally rocking at this point. They're walking nothing but like straight designer every episode. They're driving nothing but foreigns. Like yeah. But 20 episode season for last season. BMF just came back. That's been hitting. That's all I got. Catch these new movies. I haven't been on too much.
No, yeah. I've definitely tried to catch. I think it's particular, but I know there's a couple that I just added, I think, to my list. So I'm definitely gonna check a couple of those things out. I'll definitely come and bring y'all some heat. But as I said, this week I'm gonna say if you haven't seen it, The Boys and Invincible. I would say if you like superheroes and gore.
Oh nah, I was watching The Warrior on Netflix.
Warrior.
Yeah, it's like based off of a Chinese immigrant who comes into the U.S. kind of like his whole intent is pretty much to find his sister who was kidnapped earlier. I haven't got too far into it, but so far it's hitting. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in. It's been hitting.
Okay.
And I watched a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, and I've been watching Death Note too. Actually, I was capping. I haven't watched it a little bit.
Oh yeah, Death Note. That's my joint. You seen the movie too?
Death Note movie? No, I didn't see it. I wanted to see it, but I haven't watched any of the show, so it was.
No, I think
it's
it works.
literally it goes in with the show.
Yeah, they took a little creative liberty, but if you watch the show, I think, because I watched it backwards. I watched the Death Note movie, and that's what made me say, okay, I gotta go watch the show.
And I watched that new I don't know what it's called, but I watched the new Dragon Ball where they had the orange Piccolo and they have the Cell Max. So that was pretty good. I ain't lie, that was real good.
I think, because I watched that. Okay, I guess my movie recommendation that was random that I saw on Netflix was X.
Oh, that jump was good.
It was. It's got old girl from
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
And Kid Cudi.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
I ain't gonna lie, I put a bunch of people on that movie. That's if you like somebody who likes thrillers.
Yeah, I love thrillers, so that was definitely a good one, I think.
Because you really can't call that one. Oh, Vince Staples show. That's gonna be my recommendation.
Yes.
That's my
I have
recommendation.
started to watch that show. That is actually entertaining. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I think talk about that on one of the episodes.
Have you ever watched Atlanta?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of Atlanta, bro,
Yeah, I think you'll like it. It's like
you're gonna like that.
yeah, it's like
Satirical.
tales of like satire, kind of the tales of my life, but like in a funny way. And then there's, like I said, you don't necessarily have to be a big fan of Vince Staples to be interested into. I think it's good quality, entertaining content. What else is up here? Think like a minute too. I might watch. Yes, I'm gonna go on a John Wick binge. Definitely gonna go on a John Wick binge. You seen John Wick?
Yeah, actually, I watched I think 1 through 3 not too long ago.
Okay.
One of my coworkers that gave me the movies. They're all on Stars.
But I would say
I haven't watched the newest one though.
So yes, those are the things I think I'm gonna leave y'all with this week. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Come on to the next one. Peace.